What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Overwatch Weekly. So, today, I have three topics for you. The third one is going to be all about the Overwatch League playoffs. So, if you are not interested in the Overwatch League, this is my warning now to let you know that at the end, that is what we're going to be talking about. But I have three topics for you, plus a little bonus topic in the description. Little fun little story, if I can find those that I don't really want to talk about in a video, I'll put those in the description. So, a bonus fourth one in the description. We're going to start off with the first story, which is from an interview with Jeff Goodman and Bill Warnicki. Jeff Goodman is the lead hero designer for Overwatch, and Bill Warnicki is the lead software engineer for Overwatch. This is an interview with dynamic.org. It'll be linked in the description, as always. Now, this is dated from June 7th, so the anniversary event was still ongoing when this came out. So a lot of what they're talking about has to do with stuff involved, whether it be Petra or some of the skins. They talk a little bit about destructive terrain or destructible terrain and maybe how it'll appear in quick playing competitive maps. But there's two really interesting things that I took from this that I think are more unique. So one of them is Reinhardt. They discussed, because someone from Dynamic, the interviewer, said, we have a lot of Reinhardt mains on this team, so is there something that's going to be looked at with Reinhardt, because he's kind of hard to play right now, because he's been kind of impacted with the new meta, with the Brigitte meta. He's been very affected, so they said, yes, actually, we are looking at him right now. It looks like they're going to change something with Earthshatter, but we don't know fully what they're going to do, but that is another hero that we are getting the acknowledgement and a seeming confirmation that he is getting some kind of touch-up. Maybe not a full rework, I don't know if Torbjorn's going to be a full rework. We just know Torbjorn's getting some kind of rework. So, we know there's going to be some changes to Torbjorn, and it looks like Reinhardt's going to get something. We'll see what it is, but I'm interested in seeing what that is. The other thing that I found interesting was about competitive rewards, because, when you're playing competitive, the only thing you really get from it is those competitive points or whatever that you then put towards golden weapons. And they've mentioned that they are still working on potentially adding some other kind of rewards that you can get by playing competitive. That would probably make me want to play competitive more than I do. To me, competitive's not worth it because the rewards aren't worth it, because I don't really care about golden weapons. So I'm interested in seeing what the kind of rewards that they add in potentially are. But for now, we have to just wait and see what happens. But that is that for the Dynamic interview. The next interview comes from Inven Global, and this one is an interview with Scott Mercer, who is the principal designer. And he was asked about endorsements and how endorsements will impact the game as a whole. And overall, he thinks it's a step in the right direction, which I agree. I do think it is also a step in the right direction. I don't think it will solve the problem. Competitive gaming will always have a negative community. It is basically the rule. All games like this are going to have some negative players. They're going to have negative people, and overall it's going to be bad because people are competitive, and when people are competitive, they get upset when they lose. So endorsements isn't going to change everything, but it will help if you are making a team and you're like, okay, I don't want to play with these people who are all one endorsement level. I can go with these 3s and 4s, and they'll be better people, hopefully, and they won't get super upset, and they'll actually cooperate as a team, and everything will work. But they mentioned, and the main thing I wanted to talk about with this, is some of the rewards. So he mentioned a reward which was basically a loot box, for example, right? Just some kind of extra loot box or some kind of reward based on your player endorsement level, and at random intervals you would get these rewards. Now, we don't know if that means, say, if your endorsement level is 5, is that random interval much smaller than if you're level 3 endorsement? Are you more likely to get things frequently at level 5, or is it just in general, it's a random interval and it doesn't matter how high you are, it's the same thing if you're level 5 to level 1, it's going to be the same interval. We don't know. I would assume there's going to be a difference. I would assume there's going to be some kind of benefit to being higher with these rewards, but we don't know exactly yet. They talk about expanding the endorsement system and all this other endorsement type things. So if you want to read more about the endorsement level, that'll also be down in the description. I think there's some interesting stuff in here about matchmaking with endorsement, because you can see other people's endorsement levels and you can't hide that. So I think that'll be a very interesting thing going forward, just seeing how people make, their fine groups with that. But that is that story for now. So we're going to move on to the Overwatch League. So if you don't want to watch Overwatch League stuff, I'm sorry. But I want to talk about two things. First thing I want to talk about is Stage 4. Stage 4 just concluded this past weekend. We had the Stage 4 playoffs, where the number 1 seeded Los Angeles Gladiators took on the number 2 seeded LA Valiant out of their choice. They chose to face the LA Valiant. And the number 3 seed New York Excelsior took on the number 4 seed Dallas Fuel. And the Los Angeles Valiant won 3-2 against the LA Gladiators, and the New York Excelsior won 3-2 against the Dallas Fuel. And in the Stage 4 finals, the LA Valiant came out on top 3 maps to 1. So the Stage 4 championship went to the LA Valiant, and the New York Excelsior got second, which means the LA Valiant got the $100,000, and the New York Excelsior got $25,000 for Stage 4. But that's just the beginning of the prize money for those teams. The regular season is now over, and what that means is it's playoff time, baby. But that also means one other thing: performance bonuses. So every team in the league, regardless of where they finished, gets a performance bonus. The higher you placed in the overall standings, you get more money. This has been a thing that we've known about since the league was created, but it's something that they don't actively talk about until we got towards late in the season. So the way it breaks down is the first place team, which in this case is the New York Excelsior, gets $300,000 as a performance bonus. The second place team, the Los Angeles Valiant, gets $200,000. Then both the third and fourth place team, which in this case is the Boston Uprising and the Los Angeles Gladiators, get $150,000. Fifth and sixth, London Spitfire and Philadelphia Fusion get $100,000. Seventh and eighth, the Houston Outlaws and the Seoul Dynasty get $75,000. The ninth and 10th place teams, which are the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel, they get $50,000. And the 11th and 12th place teams, the Florida Mayhem and the Shanghai Dragons, will get $25,000 as their performance bonuses. And that totals the overall, in case you're wondering, that they give out as performance bonuses is $1.3 million to the teams. Split up, obviously, with the better team getting more money than the lower team. And then, as I mentioned, playoffs. Top 6 teams make the playoffs. The 2 division leaders get a first round bye, which is the New York Excelsior for the Atlantic and the LA Valiant for the Pacific. And the other teams that made it are the Boston Uprising, who will be going up against the Philadelphia Fusion as the 3 seed for the Boston Uprising, 6 seed for the Philadelphia Fusion, and the LA Gladiators at the 4 spot will take on the London Spitfire. And the playoffs has its own prize pool. If you win the entire thing in New York City, you get $1 million. If you come in second place, you get $400,000. The third and fourth place team get an additional $100,000, and the fifth and sixth place team will get $50,000. There's $1.7 million in the playoff pool. So, the top team in the league will end up with $1 million. I think it's interesting that they just have it so if you lose in the first round, you're getting $50,000. If you lose in the second round, you're getting $100,000. They don't split it up like, oh, you got third overall. It's just nope. It doesn't really matter. If you lose that game, you get $100,000, and if you lose the championship game, you get $400,000. So that is the playoff teams, and I made a video that I uploaded on Monday where I gave my predictions for the playoffs. So if you're interested in that, I will have that link in the description as the first link. But I wanted to end this off by talking about one final thing with the Overwatch League, which is the playoff map pool. And the map pool was randomly selected yesterday, Tuesday, and there are 2 assault maps, 3 control maps, 1 is the tiebreaker map, 2 escort maps, and 2 hybrid maps. So the 2 assault maps are Hanamura and Volskaya Industries. The control maps are Oasis and Lijiang Tower with Nepal as the tiebreaker. The escort maps are Junkertown and Dorado, and the hybrid maps are Kings Row and Eichenwald. Eichenwald has not been played since I think Stage 1, so I am very, very, very excited to see Eichenwald played again. Eichenwald Kings Row is a really good set for the hybrids, so that I'm super excited about. And that is where I am going to end this video. I know there's a lot of information there with the Overwatch League. I will have a link in the description to the playoffs page where I explain a lot more than I did. If you want to read fully or just want to understand things a little bit better. The map pool as well, I will link to the selection show in the description as well, just so you can see everything that you want to see. But with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Make sure to check out the bonus story that I have for you in the description. It's a really, really great one. It's fun. It's entertaining. I think you'll enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. Comment down below if you are excited about the Overwatch League playoffs beginning on July 11th. And I will see you all next time. See you later.